Nsem-Pii TV. Your mom boss for you. I think say Obia Nsem-Pii TV.
Entrepreneurship maybe.
Tieh Nsem-Pii. Yeah, you ask good questions. I hope sir you continue with your good questions.
Be the first to know Nsem-Pii TV.
Edumrebi na prices of goods and services akosropa a enye asemkotoa, especially say na upie na okwa akotwa de a ebo a na edede daso no na ibi eye etwamenebo a enye asemkotoa nyama price ekosro kakra, but with the aid of Dr. Mahmoud Baomiane na Nadanko Kufu Ado and NPP Amaniko Ntimi no kasa ide nyama ne so hwinhwan a na ehwinhwan ba fom a enye asemkotoa na eno na Dr. Tieh Mohammed Kabiru ani yura Sammy Gyamfi ekokopie mu ewo Good Morning Ghana and I want discuss ekwan a inflation no efa so a etiba fom na Sammy Gyamfi kasa no ene ese de ani ayimu no afi de o shifte adi inflation kopie mu se Dr. Mahmoud Baomiane say oba then time opposition or say onobo obeche dollar gina ho nti onche dollar enyina ho ene Dr. Tieh Kabiru so an spare no yenkoti Dr. Tieh Kabiru Mahama
matter on kinky prices. My brother Sammy Gyamfi mentioned a lot of issues on the economy, and I think that it's proper and fair to respond to them. You see, go ahead. I do not want to be one person, and in fact, that is the general demeanor of government now. If you listen to the president, if you listen to the vice president, our general attitude is that you will need to be careful when you are discussing issues of the economy, especially those bordering on the lives and living standards of people. And to that extent, you will want people to know that as government, listening government for that matter, you empathize and sympathize with their situation. So it will be arrogance of power. It will be highly, if you like, political immorality for you to look Ghanaian on the face to say that things are all well with the Ghanaian people. None of the government functionaries, no single person will come to you with this kind of posture. However, when you are forced, when you are pushed, when an alternate in government, when people who have had the benefit of leading the country are making such demands and claims and pushing the government to the wall, government has a responsibility of reminding them as well that, you see, if this comment is made by someone on the street of Accra, I'll be very careful of how I respond to the person. But if a political actor, no less a person but a communication director of a major opposition party that was in government some 8 years ago, that left government some 8 years ago, they are making such claims, you are duty bound to remind them that the figures you are bundling and peddling around are the same figures and metrics we are going to measure you and see and to determine whether or not you have a moral right of questioning the government leadership and management of the economy. This is why sometimes we come about with such difference. It's not a difference to say that all is well with the Ghanaian people. It's not a difference to suggest that things should not be better. It's not a difference to say that government is not working to improving the laws of the Ghanaian people. That is not the difference. The difference is to the fact that those people making the claims and pushing and jabbing and punching government, we are equally duty bound to remind them. He mentioned issues about inflation. We have litigated that and we've narrowed that to the kinky inflation. He mentioned issues about lending rates.
Prices of goods
under their tenure between 2006 13 and 16,
especially
they did an average lending rate of 27.3%. Okay, normal situation, normal curve, nothing of a disaster, nothing of a exogenous factor. That was the normal routine progression, the trajectory of when you average every performance of that.
When did we have the financial crisis? The global financial crisis.
The global financial crisis was in 2008, 2007, 2008. Okay. That was the time of the bubble. Okay, the financial crisis was 2007, 2008. So even that was the ending urban stage of performance government. This was their performance. Now, this government, even in the midst of the economic disaster that no country is immune from, that every single country, even countries that were recording negative inflation, people refer to Cote d'Ivoire, they were doing single digits. They were doing even sometimes negative inflation figures. They have all increased their rates of inflation. Not even one single country has been spared the brunt of this inflation. Now, you come to Ghana and say that Ghana should be an oasis. It should be a state that is so immune from this particular exogenous factor. That cannot be said to be right. You cannot expect the government to be an isolation in the community of nations. You can't expect Ghana to be independent of the interdependent relations with other countries. Now, their record of 27.3% in terms of interest rate is performing abysmally against the 23% average. Under this guy, admittedly, inflation interest rate went to as much as 30% last year, 2022, 2023. And we've all explained the factors attributed to that. He mentioned about exchange rate. Again, if you are looking at the dollar...
Can we finalize on the interest rates before we move on?
Okay.
So what has been the average of the interest rates from 2021 till now?
2021 till now. Yes. I've not done the year-on-year.
I'm asking that question because you did an average of 2013 to 2016.
Yes.
That's why I'm asking you.
Yes.
About the average for 2021 to 2024.
The average for 2027 to 2022 was 23 point.
2021 to 2024.
I've not done the average for the last 2 years. You are saying 2022, but the average.
No, I'm saying 2021 to 2024 to the current.
2020. We don't have the current figure because it's year on year.
End of year.
So it is supposed to be. It's supposed 2021 to 2023, maybe.
Yes.
And
what is that?
If I on the back of the envelope calculation, we are going to be doing around 28 to 30% because of the increase of 30%. For 2022, moving 2023. Okay, that is, if I have to be fair, this will be the numbers. Similar to just closer to their numbers when they were exiting or the performance for their whole tenure. So it cannot be said that even the government performance in the midst of this disaster is so bad compared to their record. Now, he mentioned about exchange rate. Again, I cannot look at the businessman on the face to tell him that exchange rate of $1 to 13 Ghana cedi is defensible. I cannot look them on the face and say that there's nothing wrong with that figure. I cannot be so careless to the trader at Makwala to say that inflation rate at this particular is something that we should celebrate ourselves of. But if Mr. Sammy Gyamfi raises it, I have equally duty bound to remind them that, look, the rate of the depreciation of our cedi was a disaster under your regime. And that is why I'll come in with the averages and the performance over their tenure. And I'll remind him that under their tenure, the cedi depreciated by some 17.7% between the period 2013 to 2016. Okay, even with the about over 50%, 30 to 50% depreciation of our currency in the midst of the disaster, we performed some 10.7% depreciation over our period.
Which period?
2016 to 2023.
No, but Chief, hold on now. You are a researcher. Yeah. Why do you want to compare 2016 to 2023 to 2013 to 2016? Why do you do that?
I would maybe if you ask me to do 2016 to 2020, it is even better.
No.
It's even better. Let me tell you, it's even better.
No, you are not listening to me. I'm saying that if you decide to do 2017 to 2023, then I expect that you do a 2009 to 2016. Yeah. But you don't do a 2013 to a 2016 and compare it to a 2017 to 2023.
And I'm saying that granted that argument because you want the time
you disagree with me?
No, I'm saying granted that argument because you want the time horizon to be similar. You want a common denominator.
Shouldn't that be the case?
No, that should be the case.
Okay.
But I'm saying that even if we limit it to the first tenure of this government,
I'm not asking for the first
tenure. We have to because we've not exhausted. And it's not be candid for you to analyze 3 years against 4 years. Okay, so the basis for comparison would have been the 4 years and then the 4 years of
So 2009 to 2012.
2000, not 2000. It's not Mr. It is Mr. John Dramani Mahama. And there are those we are competing. I mean, that is the rubber we are contesting. You are not contesting all the figures from independence. We are contesting a regime that was led by Mr. John Dramani Mahama and a regime led by Mr. Adundoko Akufo-Addo, which they want to, explicate to mean that.
So to the extent that Mr. Mahama was not president for 8 years, how will you do the comparison?
You will do the 4 years of each of them. Mr. Nana Akufo-Addo's 4 years, and then the 4 years of Mr. Mahama.
So what you're telling me is that although President Akufo-Addo is president today,
yes,
and we are in 2024,
yeah,
to compare his record with President Mahama,
exactly,
we should do, and because President Mahama was in office for 4 years, we should look at the 4 years of President Mahama, 2013 to 2016, and compare it to the first 4 years of President Akufo-Addo.
No, let me explain. Now, there are two ways you can do it. Because of the argument that the denominator should be the same, okay, then we'll have to use either the 5 years of Mr. John Dramani Mahama, because he was president for about a year.
No,
I'm saying for about a year.
For 5 months.
Okay, so let's even say the 4 months. You have to use the 4 months against 4 months of Nana Akufo-Addo government. That is going to be the fair and appropriate analysis. However,
really?
Yes. However, because Nana Akufo-Addo is over a period,
yes,
from 2017 to 2023 now,
yes,
you may have to use all the period against all the period of Mr. Mahama.
Yes.
And that's basically what we are doing, and you are questioning. Because it is only the period that we mentioned that sometimes you see that this is Mr. Mahama's regime. So you only use all the period that he was in government and all the period that Mr. Akufo-Addo has been in government to do the analysis.
So you are saying that, once again, you're saying that from a research point of view, it is professional and okay to compare a 4-year tenure with a 7.5-year tenure.
It is okay, depending on the goal you want to achieve. It is
so which is the goal you want to achieve? The goal
I want to achieve is that I will want to compare what you were able to do with the time given to you, with what I was able to do with the time given to you. And what's explaining for that, I'll have to make provision against the length of time. In fact, in research, you have to control for the time. Because the more time you are given, the more likely you are likely to do things right.
Right.
Okay? So that is what I'm saying, that I will have to control for the time. If you're asking me from a proper research perspective,
yes,
that if I'm using 3 years against 5 years, I have to control for the time effect.
Yes.
Said that the analysis will be fair.
Yes.
Okay. And I'm saying that when I do that, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that.
Yes.
Comparing 3 years with 5 years.
No, the only thing is that you didn't control.
No,
that is why I asked you.
Yes. So but your question was whether it is proper to do that or not. And again, if I want to have the same time horizon, so that the denominator will be the same, I'll have to use 4 years of each. And the 4 years, the only proper way to examine the 4 years is 4 expended years of the person. Said that your mandate was not in any way truncated. That's the only basis you can do the analysis. Because I cannot go and use 4 years of someone completed term against 3 years or possible 4 years of another completed term. You are measuring reality, a fact, against something like a conjecture, which is not going to be proper analysis. So that's what I'm saying, that there's absolutely nothing wrong. The only problem you may raise is that how do we control for the time factor? And the time factor equally plays...
That's the question I've been asking you all morning.
I'm coming. The time factor equally also plays a negative role in you, depending on how you look at it. For instance, a time frame for you to do writing, also a time for a disaster to hit you, which wouldn't have hit you if you were not within that time period. So that cancels out, in my opinion. So that is the point we need to note. But under their regime, the depreciation of the currency...
Is it not simplified? All the talking we're talking. Is it not simple to just compare the 8 years of the NDC and the 8 years of the NPP?
It is, if we are doing government by government, and it is simple. But NPP has not extended the 8 years. So it is even more complicated. We've not done 8 years.
Yes.
So you are again.
Are you saying that we cannot still do the period that has been expended? Let's say, for example, you have a 2009 to a 2015.
Exactly.
And you have a 2017 to a 2023. Can that be done?
That can be done.
And is that not the best approach?
No. That's what I'm saying. Depending on the goal. If you are measuring, if the person were so much focused about the person giving the punch, the person, discrediting our record, is Mr. Mahama.
Yes.
Okay. You'll be willing to tell.
But the same Mr. Mahama you're talking about was the vice president from 2009 to 2012. The same Mr. Mahama was the head of the economic management team. Hold on. The same Mr. Mahama, the vice president, Dr. Mahmoud Bouamia, in 2016, told us that he had been in charge of the economy for 8 years. 4 years as chairman of the economic management team and 4 years as president. So why are you unwilling to look at that tenure as against?
I am saying that we are ever ready to do a comparison of the MPP's tenure 8 years and the NDC tenure 8 years and go on with the debate.
So let's just do that.
We're not running away from that debate.
Yeah, let's just do
that. We're not running away.
Add that to the table.
I'm making a point. Even the 2 CD KNK as of now is no more from the research. Yes. However, as at last year, you could get KNK. Maybe the time Okoboy probably spoke.
No.
I'm saying that the last time he went to the market or he went to buy a KNK.
Dr. Okoboy clarified his statement. When I pushed it, we said that the 2 cities is wholesale price.
Wholesale price. Not retail price.
So
we are not wholesale.
So even
why you go and buy it from buffer stock?
So I think that this has helped the KNK propaganda. This has helped the KNK propaganda.
Sammy, allow
break stock.
Sammy, allow
don't dance around.
Sammy, allow you don't.
Allow you to say the way you see this today.
Let me make my point. So
dancing around
for the purpose of this research has settled the propaganda either on the side of government or on the side of the opposition on this KNK politics.
What propaganda has it settled?
The propaganda that KNK price is going for 5 CD. And yes, even elsewhere,
5 CDs has come to stay.
No, but
it is a new price now. And he said the 5 CDs price has come to stay.
The research he said it has come to stay. It is making entry.
It has entered. It made entry in November last year. It made entry in November last year.
That's what it said. What is the average price?
In April.
In April.
No, we shouldn't be talking to something that is before us.
Yes.
Okay, differently. The man in history stated clearly that average price of KNK
dominant.
Now, the lowest you can get for a ball of KNK is 3 cedis. The highest is 5 cedis. The dominant price is 4 cedis.
Thank you.
That's what it says.
Where did that
now it says that there is also shows us where you can get KNK at 3 cedis, the cheapest. Yes. So it mentions Weja, Teshin, Kolegono, and Mamprobi. Yeah. Those are the places. Yeah. So those are the 4 places where you can at least get KNK for 3 cedis. So this is what the research.
Yeah. So that's the point I want to make. That we should never create a perception that the most dominant price in the market for KNK is 5 CD. Okay. West is to say 4 CD. The West.
No, but if he says he buys KNK at Chado for 5
CD,
he has not spent that.
And I'm also saying that he's buying KNK at 3 CD and even 2 CD, depending on where. You should ask where the person bought it from. I could buy KNK in Tamale, say for 2 CD. The location matter. Okay. So in all this analysis, let us also be fair to people that much as their research is based in Accra and they have done an extensive work on this in Accra, there are other places. Someone can equally argue that I bought my KNK for 2 CD. The question you need to ask the person is, where did you buy it from? And then we then go to check. So, but for the purpose of analysis, we have to use the 4 CD because that is what is prevalent in the market. Yes. That's the point I want to make. Now, before this